Barbershop conversation, guys. Feel free to hit the subscribe button. So I was at the fight last night at Barclays, and what's bigger than the fight now on social media, on the YouTube channels, is um, Adrien Broner calling Ness a bitch ass nigga, and and I want to talk about this from a honest perspective. I'm going to digress until Friday, I believe. No, yeah, Friday. I had an interview with Virgil Hunter, and coincidentally, Ness he jumped in on it, and we were talking about the word nigga, ironically enough, right? And what the points that were raised up was the Al Heyman incident, and I challenged Ness about covering that story. And the reason why I challenged Ness about covering that story is because he prides himself. This is just my interpretation of him, and I've heard him say it a couple of times. He's unafraid to ask the tough questions, and on his show, um, he talks as if he's in control and he knows what's going on, and he speaks his mind. So I challenged Ness to cover the Golden Boy issue, and he said it wasn't a Golden Boy employee, which is false, because when you're working under an umbrella, whoever you get your credentials with, that's who you work for. Whoever you say you represent, that's who you work for, And he said it wasn't an issue because the kid didn't work for Golden Boy, in which he was a correspondent. And Ness knows all too well about correspondence because I work with a couple of his correspondents on a weekly basis. And if they say something like that, Ness gets the repercussions of that. So, and then fast forward, we were leaving, and we brought up the Angel Garcia incident. And I'm going to paraphrase to a quote. Ness said, "I grew up like that. I grew up Dominican in the hood. I don't believe Angel Garcia is racist." Right? And he basically, more or less, defended Angel Garcia. So now you see both ends of the spectrum, right? You guys understand where I'm coming from? So he fully understands what the term nigga means, right? And now we fast forward to Saturday night after the fights. And he's interviewing Adrien Broner, and Ness asks a fair question. And basically, Adrien Broner took offense to that and called him a bitch ass nigga. Now, there's so many layers to this, but the personality or the person that Ness makes himself out to be is not the person that he is in person. Quite frankly, it could be the case because I hear how he disrespects his correspondence on his radio show. I believe, I don't know, it was a spat a couple of weeks ago. And I heard it because someone else posted it. Another YouTube channel posted it, and I saw it. And they were just babbling and yelling, and he was using the N-word quite repeatedly, right? And he was using it in the same tone as if Adrien Broner used the term. Now, this is my issue with non-black people that use that term out of convenience. They're culture vultures, right? And what I mean by culture vultures is, when it's cool to do it, it's all right. But when it's not cool, you tuck your tail and you hide. Now, the same effort and energies that we had when it was inconvenient for him, like the Golden Boy issue, he tucked his tail and said it wasn't an issue. And I challenged him on it, right? But Danny Garcia, he had a Danny Garcia hat on, which validates what side of the fence he's on, right? Now, when Adrien Broner says it, he tucks his tail and doesn't be the person that he claims to be on his radio show. And I can care less. But since this is an issue on YouTube and it's running rampant, and Adrien Broner once again is going viral on the boxing YouTube channel, I'll talk about Adrien Broner after I get done with Ness. It's culture vulturing, you know what I mean? And I take offense to that. Because when I ask you to defend me, right, in terms of the Al Heyman issue, oh, it's not an issue. Oh, he wasn't a worker. right? But if Angel Garcia says, oh, it's cool, I defend him, I'm going to wear his hat and I'm going to support Angel Garcia. And I was born in New York, so I completely understand the Dominicans and the Reportigans, the Puerto Ricans using the N word, because you get desensitized to it. You know what I mean? They use it as frequent as black people use it, you know, especially in the neighborhood where I grew up in, where you got a bodega on every corner and they standing in front selling drugs and drinking and talking shit and everything else under the sun. Um, but I take offense to reporters who only use the term when it's appropriate, when they deem it appropriate. Now, if you're going to be straight, you got to be straight through. If you're going to reporter, you know, I don't listen to his show as much anymore because they run too long, and I miss a lot of them now. But if I get a chance to, I do listen to them. But I always have listened to a show maybe twice a month now, but it's in like shorter segments now because the shows are exceedingly too long. But I just want him to be who he say he is. I don't care that he cursed him out or anything. I've been cursed out before. I'm not, but what I am is the same person through and through. And I spoke to Ness about that, about being a reporter is a marathon. And I believe it's on his channel. Yeah, it is on his channel. I haven't posted mine yet. It's on his channel. When he and I had this debate in front of with Virgil Hunter, not in front, with Virgil Hunter. And being a reporter is a marathon, right? Your character will reveal itself over the course of your career as a reporter. Now, when you look at it in short sprints, you're going to have your ups and downs and your lefts and your rights. But at the end of the day, through your 30, 40 years reporting, you will be deemed a good and or positive reporter. And that's what I tried to explain to him. And I was offended that he uses the N-word upon his convenience. But when you have to challenge an entity like Golden Boy, or when you have to challenge someone like an Adrien Broner, because that was totally inappropriate what Adrien Broner did. I wouldn't allow Adrien Broner to say that to me. No, not even close. As a matter of fact, Adrien Broner wouldn't say that to me. The reason why I know Adrien Broner wouldn't talk to me in that manner is because how I interact with Adrien Broner. I interact with Adrien Broner on a man's level. I'm about to put out a video. I gave it to Dante. Dante should be posting it, and Town Biz should be posting probably tonight or tomorrow, and you guys should be checking that out. But when I interact with Adrien Broner, it's on grown man shit. Yeah, I may ask a question that's permeating, that may get some clicks. Obviously, I'll do something like that since I for my YouTube channel, not for the newspaper, but at the end of the day, I talk to Adrien Broner like he's a man. If Adrien Broner is fucking up, I come from a place of black brotherhood. That's just how that's who I am organically. You know, you never want to see these black men fail and then ultimately kill themselves. You know, we see the Adrien Broner killing himself train has left the depot if you tally up his score, right? From all the instances and the things he's said, the things he's put on his social media, you see something terrible. You can foresee something terribly happening to him, and it would be probably justified, right? But it is our responsibility to sustain our decorum, which you might say Ness did, but it's not in accordance with who Ness claims he is, right? So I'm not deterred, bothered, because Ness is who he say he is, you know, and he's not who I thought he was, because I've heard him use the N-word on his show. I've heard him defend Angel Garcia. I've seen him wear an Angel Garcia hat. And then when I challenge him on Golden Boy, it's not an issue, right? So go figure. When a black man challenges him with the N-word, he doesn't respond. Like he uses the N-word when he was disrespecting one of his correspondents on his radio show. I don't know their names, but I heard it, right? So there's some inconsistencies there. So he's a culture vulture, you know. He uses the N word. He uses attributes of being black upon his convenience when it's deemed when this can be deemed in a positive light. And I take offense to that. You know, as I tell in my interview, you probably go to his channel. You'll see how I am unwavering on my stand. I told Virgil Hunter I am unwavering. I will not tolerate another man disrespecting me in public like that. And I'm not talking about in terms of fighting, because I'm a pacifist by nature. So I don't genuinely believe in self-defense. I believe if you break in my house, there's no warning shots. You know, I that's just what I believe. You know, and but outside of that, violence isn't the answer. Violence begets violence, right? Like what Martin Luther King say, darkness begets darkness, and light brings light. You know, I'm paraphrasing this quote. Feel free to put it in the comment section. But you know, Ness is an inconsistent reporter, and his value to me lessened this weekend. I met him once in Vegas. I met him once in Vegas, maybe a year or two ago. And but that conversation I had with him Friday after the weigh-in, and then I'm listening to Adrien Broner talk to him in that manner. I mean, how do you come back from that? You know, in terms of who you say you are. You say you're a tough rogue reporter, and here you are. You have a great opportunity to be tough and rogue. I don't want to be tough and rogue. I told you, I start as a gentleman and I end as a gentleman, but I'm unwavering on my stance. You can't bump Frederick Hawthorne off his stance and what he believes in. You can't. You can't. And I saw Ness get bumped off his stance because his ideology on the word nigga doesn't make sense at all. There's some holes and some inconsistencies with that. So, but moving forward with Adrien Broner, I interviewed Adrien Broner for maybe 3 minutes Saturday night, and I spoke to him like I was his big brother. I had to go up and down because I saw his emotions rising, right? But so I wanted to hit the release button so it doesn't go overboard and I have an incident like he had with Ness. You know, you see, as I just mentioned, you see terrible things. You can foresee terrible things happening to Adrien Broner, and it would be quite frankly justified. You know, I heard him say they shot 30 bullets at me or something like that, and they tried to kill him and didn't kill him. I don't know the depth of that story. I only know what I saw on TMZ, and it's a problem. He has problems, and I asked him, does he intend on leaving Cincinnati, moving? Does he need a mentor? You know, because at the end of the day, you need to be inspired by someone here on earth. You need to confide in someone, whether it's your big brother, auntie, uncle, and as a man, there's something special about another man holding another man accountable, right? And that's why as a reporter, as a black man, I'm holding Ness accountable. Because this week he's going to probably say the N-word 10, 15, 20 times on his radio show. I'm not going to watch it, but I know he is. But in real life, he's not that dude. That's just who I am. That's just what I saw, you know? And so I'm going to put the link in the description box to the interview I did with Ness, with Virgil Hunter. And you guys decipher your truth. But Adrien Broner needs help. And every athlete has a breaking point when it comes to media. I totally get that. I totally respect that. And there are private conversations I have with people. And